Yes, people, welcome back
Yo.
Weird and Wonderful. We've had a bit of a hiatus just because...
First one in a little while, man.
Yeah, we've had to... Do you know what? It's been such a fucking crazy week. Right? Since the last time we were on...
The maddest week.
If you got me straight after, like, this all happened, I don't know, I would have been... My head was gone for a long part of last week. So I think it was probably for the best.
Yeah, I think we
I think it was for the best.
We wanted to just let the sort of the land lay, let the dust settle, let what's happening kind of unfold, and then like comment on the sort of aftermath of it. But
because to be fair, there were points where it didn't look like there was going to be any time for settling or like for the dust to settle.
Let's just get the first kind of question. Did you think it was ever going to go ahead? This obviously the elephant in the room is the fact that we've had the Super League come and go in the space of 48 hours this week. Did you ever think it was actually going to go ahead? Because we were kind of talking about it throughout the week.
Bro, so the thing is with the Super League, it's not the first time I've heard about it.
No, yeah, there's been
like, rumbling for flipping time ago. Look, the point I was making quite a lot was just like, if we did like this Super League, right?
Yeah.
And then what I have a theory as to what it was intended to be, but then how it was communicated.
So what are you saying then? What did you think? Did you think it was like a bit of a bargaining tool? Because for me the timing was all a bit like deliberate in it. Because you're waiting for it meant to be unveiling this new Champions League format with new teams, league system, and all of that XYZ.
That's exactly right.
And then the next day, the Super League is apparently ready to go. They're gonna roll on with it. So it all seemed a bit mad.
It seemed like it was exactly that. It was a reaction to the new Champions League format being released.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think the reason, one of the many reasons, obviously one of them being money, but we'll get into that in a bit later. But one of the reasons that these clubs were sort of encouraged to sort of try and go like form a European Super League was, I think, weirdly enough, because a lot of those guys were on the chairs of like whatever boards of.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know what I mean? They were the stakeholders. They were there. They were there.
It was all a bit booky.
Bro, they were there when these
conversations
needed to happen. But I think a lot of it was down to a lack of like They felt like they weren't being listened to.
Yeah, it's like in a relationship or something. You could do something like to. If you feel like you're not being noticed, do something to like get attention to make yourself heard.
It's an ultimatum.
But then what for me, how it all started looking like all fucked was that the Super League kind of made their announcement, and UEFA they put their balls on the table as well. All right, cool. You wanna let your teams enter this new thing, and then all right, you can't play in the Euros, you can't play in the World Cup. So it just came. It felt like everyone was just playing their hand too early, and it just got taken. It just went. The whole thing kind of just spiraled out of control.
That's because these men, the people who set it up, that whoever was in charge of that strategy, got it all wrong. They were playing. The Premier League didn't have any P's or like
there was no
money in football. They were dying. People were like in poverty and shit, but. There's so much money already in football that by just highlighting the value you can get out of it, you're pointing at the motivations were in the wrong place. It wasn't to improve the game.
From the Super League or The whole thing stunk, innit? And what's quite telling is that like obviously both our teams were heavily involved. I
won't even say as our teams, but as the owners.
But yeah, to be fair, what I want to say actually, what I want to get out there is that
my team's not about
FSG do not really, they don't represent my kind of beliefs of a Liverpool fan. Like for me, it's about the Liverpool that I know and love is about the players, the fans, and at this moment in time, we've got a manager who kind of, and I'm sure you think the same about Ollie as well. We've got a manager who embodies everything like the club's meant to be about. These men who I don't want to push the whole like American narrative, but these men who kind of they own they're owners from afar in it. They don't really go to games. They don't really like seem to take an active interest in the club. So they don't. for me, I'm very far removed from FSG, and
But
I'm
you
sure,
are
I'm sure you're very far
no.
from. What,
I don't even know. I don't know if you can say you're far away from FSG. FSG, bro.
Partisan, go on, then.
Remember the beginning of this remember when we started doing this podcast, bro?
What was I saying to them?
You used to have a segment.
What was I saying to them?
There was a segment. You had your own little
Get me a
segment.
centre back.
Yeah.
We weren't. I'm not
I
poisoning
mean,
people.
that's like our first feature.
These men have deprived me of a centre back, and they've kind of derailed not my season. They've derailed Liverpool's season from not investing sufficiently. Like I've got a problem with these men from before this whole. And I'm going to talk about Liverpool for a minute, but they've got previous in it. They tried to hike up the ticket prices. We were like, nah, not happening. They tried to furlough our staff. We were like, what the fuck? We were like, no.
You
no
just
chance.
won the
Like,
Premier League.
We won the Premier League. We won the Champions League before that. We won the club. Anything there was to win in that 18 months, but we won it. You can't be telling me that you're broke.
No.
That's like me saying. That's like you. I come on a night out and I'm in like just the fucking most expensive
Gucci all
drip
over
possible, and I'm like, oh, bro, can you buy me a drink? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, you'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, it's just, it's. I've had a bee on my bonnet with these men for a while.
Yeah.
This for me is like, this is cemented. I know they're trying to sweet us now by.
That's what I was gonna say. Is have you noticed the PR spin?
Bruv, I was gonna say that. We obviously, if you don't know already, that we've apparently.
Van Dijk not about for the videos. He wasn't around.
Let man rest. Let man rest, did it? Let man rest. But we've apparently all but confirmed the signing of Konate today, which for me, I reckon this must have been wrapped up a while ago, and they're just wheeling it out now.
It was a PR spin.
Or it's a PR spin.
It's the same thing that happened with Real when they announced Alaba the next day.
Exactly.
After,
So these teams have been waiting on their little signings for a while. They knew that the PR backlash from this was going to be catastrophic. A lot of the teams now, I think. The fans have had this is the last straw of the owners. You've seen the Arsenal fans today.
What does that even mean? They don't need it. What does that mean?
We're gonna get onto this. We're gonna actually that's quite a good segue. Actually, we've heard a lot this week about people saying, this is what fan power, people power has shown that it can make a change. I'm not really sure if I buy that 100%. Like I don't know how much the fans have really made a difference in changing the Super League outcome.
I think they obviously did, man. I think they
obviously
did.
PR helps, but like, what I think all of our clubs have, what I think all of our clubs have shown is that they will just do what the fuck they want without consulting the fans. But
more clearly not anymore. That's the thing. I feel like there's certain situations. This wasn't even polarizing. It was
so
everyone was on the same side.
How pivotal do you think this has been then? Let me rephrase that. How much of an impact or influence do you think the fans and the people have had on this U-turn? All of a sudden, a
big one. I think if you're counting the players as fans, because I think ultimately they were doing what they cared about. They were protecting the sport as much as we were. Like,
which I've got to big up the players as well.
So many players.
You're essentially going against your employers, isn't it? And you're saying, nah, this thing that you're trying to do this can't run.
Yeah, and you know what? I've got a lot of respect for all of the players that came out and did that because. You don't know these men
like Phil and Grant Mitchell and Carrington.
Trust. Harry Maguire stuck it on Ed Woodward. Stuck it on Ed Woodward. Luke Shaw came as the heavy. Like, you know what I mean? Like Luke Shaw was fucking ready to go.
But no, I rate it. Oh, this is like you said. This is unified.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's really with this Super League idea. I know like even Spurs and Arsenal fans who have been shoehorned into this like European elite like label. They even didn't want to be just put into a competition. Football's about you want to win stuff, innit? You want to win and you want to know that you earned your right to be there.
Might as well just do it in alphabetical order, otherwise give everyone.
The proposal was like, and like I tried to not to get too carried away with because people I think were obviously everyone was outraged, but I do feel like people were just wanting a reason to be like completely like no with this and not accept any like possible pros or cons or whatever.
I don't know. I think that's harsh.
But like,
I think that's
for
harsh.
me, once I got all the information, I was still like, this is just a dead idea. There's nothing about this idea which was like.
See, the thing is, what I did. So there were a few different reactions I had to it. Right.
Yeah.
When I first thought that they were trying to replace, or like initially was like the way we got the conversations anyway. It seemed like they were trying to get rid of the Premier League, which I understand. I understand as a result of. Like the sort of the founding members getting a guaranteed spot every year. Essentially, that's what would have happened.
Also,
got rid of the Premier
and also
League
they were saying that the teams that were in the Super League would be favouring that over the Premier League. So they'll be treating the Premier like the Carabao Cup essentially.
No, I don't think that's the case.
Playing a little man.
I genuinely don't think that. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that like when you had your big game against Real, you'd rest players in the weekend before.
Bro,
but if you're telling me you don't, doesn't matter what you do in the Premier League, it's not even about putting a weekend team out.
Domestic league should always be the thing, the bread and butter. That's all week in, week out. Like Champions League's lit. Like no one's denying that. We've both seen Champions League glory for our teams. But the league is the one. The league is the one where you like. If you win the league, you know you are the best team week in, week out. There's no like, you can't fluke your way to a league title victory. Like even the Leicester team in 15-6, like they were there week in, week out. They did it. So like that's anything that's going to jeopardise that or jeopardise the league structure or the pyramid structure in domestic football for any league. I'm not with it. I'm not with it at all, man.
Do you know what? A lot of it for me, was that you doing whatever you're doing with the Super League. Yeah, these clubs doing whatever they're doing with the Super League. Apart from Spurs, I mean, all those other clubs have won the Premier League.
Yeah.
They're all clubs that understand the value of the Premier League. They have a history of the Premier League. Winning that title was a massive deal for all of those clubs. So to almost abandon the Premier League, abandon those desires, the Champions League, all of that. Look, I'm not saying these leagues are perfect, not by any stretch of the imagination. That was something I wanted to make abundantly clear.
Let's get on.
I think UEFA and FIFA have shown and demonstrated over the decades, the last couple of World Cup bids, Euros, that money talks. And look, they can't look at these 12 clubs and be like, you're greedy, what this and that.
That's one thing.
When them have been taking bribes to fucking give Qatar the World Cup.
That's one thing I want to get straight here. I know UEFA, I can't remember that bald-headed Don from UEFA.
Ceferin, yeah.
Trying to do the whole victim thing. No one feels sorry for UEFA in this. No one feels sorry for FIFA. FIFA and UEFA are some of the most corrupt. Also,
can you stop fucking calling it Euro 2020? It's 2021, bro. Sorry.
They're just that, but they've proved. I forgot what I was going to fucking say. They've proved to be corrupt. They've proved to be shit at handling racism time and time again. Like, we're gonna get onto that as well. We're gonna get onto that. But I want to make that perfectly blatantly clear that UEFA and FIFA are no angels in this at all. They're not blameless. If anything, their ineptitude has pushed these teams towards
100%, bro.
Having any sort of justification for this fucking Super League.
And that takes me really nice onto my point.
I feel like this is the one time we're actually agreeing.
This was getting beautiful.
The beautiful game is back.
Man, you tried to take our beautiful game, bro.
You thought we lost it. You thought we might have lost it, but
they tried to say what? So what we have to change it to? It could get ugly, but the game
stays super.
Was beautiful. The game was beautiful.
I don't know.
But no, what I was trying to say about UEFA and FIFA, look, it's clear that these organisations need restructuring, they need democratisation, they need to be... There's lots of places where you can improve UEFA and FIFA. So the idea or the concept that you might need to... That like a Super League or some sort of innovation is needed isn't a novel one. It's not a new concept.
It's not a concept which is like...
Bro, we're lucky. We grew up, in the era of the Premier League and the Champions League. A couple of years earlier than that, man, our teams were playing Division 1 and flipping European Cup Winners' Cup. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's where we were before, and the Premier League and the Champions League, that's what was given to us, and that spawned a new era of football, elite football.
Sky Sports.
So the idea that the Super League at its core is destroying football. I think you got to pick apart the sort of the bones a bit. You got to look at it for what it is. The one thing that I think we can all disagree on is how you qualify. One thing we'd all agree on is
there should be relegations or
promotions. Bro. Because like I said before, sorry, not before, but for the benefit of you guys, what I've been saying, we've been speaking about this a lot. But if we did this in like '95, Blackburn would be in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you did this in
Forest
would be in there. Do you know what I mean? Leeds would be in there. So what? Just because we decided to do it like now, it's like we're gonna ring fence like all of the who are the elite teams. Do you know what I mean? And Arsenal, don't know how you're in there. Tottenham, I don't know how you're in there. Leicester should be in that conversation.
The thing is, Arsenal have like a little bit of heritage in it. They've had
fam?
Bro, not European, but they had that. We even argued about this the other day. I don't know if it was you. You were saying that they had a sort of Premier League dynasty. They've had a moment of... They've had a period of dominance.
They've had eras.
Spurs... Like,
But bruv, Nottingham Forest did as well, fam. How far are we going back?
Exactly,
How far do you want to
where
go
do
back?
you want to like? Where do you, and also, were they not gonna? Was the contract not a 23-year deal in the Super League?
I don't know. I think.
So I don't know if that's correct or not. But
what
it was
else?
a long contract in it. You can't. How can you, and especially in this day and age as well, say that you can guarantee that these 12 teams will be top teams that deserve to be in European elite
Do you know what?
for 12 years?
Do you know why? Because those other teams outside of the Premier League have been at the top of their. They've been at the top of their leagues for God knows how long.
That's a good point.
There's
Actually,
no-
is the
the
Premier
Premier
League the only
League's
league
the-
where it's like?
We fully accepted, yeah. Like this was almost for me the death of English football.
What, the Super League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't,
It would have fucked the base.
in that iteration,
it would have fucked the base so much.
in that iteration of it, yeah. What I don't think the Premier League clubs were privy to, which I find stunning, is how we would have strengthened our European counterparts whilst weakening ourselves.
Yeah.
It's almost like we were like happy to split. Like the Premier League is so valuable.
They were selling their soul
Them
to
clubs
the fucking devil.
cannot do anything without the Premier League. And why are we bailing out? Why are we doing it just because Barcelona are in £1 billion worth of debt?
Or you see
Real
Perez,
Madrid are 900 million.
literally the last man dying on the hill, bro.
Yeah, he's not giving up, bro. He's not giving up, fam.
And actually, that kind of
camping out there.
segues onto another point I want to raise about just what I want to talk a bit more about is like what. So we've seen now this week football take a massive U-turn for the betterment of everyone, for fans anyway. But like, what are the next steps now? What else can we do to improve the game that we love, the beautiful game? Because Perez's comments did rattle me a little bit when he was saying, what was my man? My man was saying that young people aren't into football anymore. They're not interested. 20 to 24-year-olds are not interested in football, and I think that's just a massive oversight, and it's just bullshit. Like that demographic that you mentioned is probably one of the most that I are into football and connected as well.
Yeah.
That's the age of a lot of our favourite players. That's the age where you can relate most of these to these idols essentially. And if he thinks that for any reason that demographic is not into football anymore, it's because they've become alienated from the game. They're not allowed. It's not accessible for kids of that age to go to games on a regular basis, to buy shirts, to do this, to do that, because everything's so fucking expensive now. So my point is, what else do you think, now you've kind of done this or proven that we can make a change, what else can we do to improve the game that we love, man?
I think it's just, for me,
There's a few things.
I feel like we've learned from this whole experience. So I want to clarify something quick. That what was achieved this week by fans, by players, by patrons of football, people who have followed this sport since they were nappies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What we've demonstrated here is that there is fan power for certain things.
Yeah.
I promise this now, unless it's like fans are not going to be able to oust owners.
No, but we've seen
unless
already.
you start hitting their pockets.
We've seen already today that like.
But I just don't see it.
The Kroenkes have come out and said they ain't going anywhere. I'm pretty sure that Joel Glazer said this week as well that they ain't going nowhere as well. Like, these men are making big peas out. They're not gonna, just because a few fans have said we want you to go, they're not gonna be like, okay, cool, we're gonna sell up now. Like, it's gonna take a bit more than that.
Yeah,
but
it takes
what can we do? What can we do as fans? Because I see Arsenal today did an absolute mad thing outside the Emirates. So
United are planning something next.
Big up Arsenal fans. Like, this kind of goes beyond.
There's a big.
This goes beyond.
Also,
partisan.
There's a big protest planned outside Old Trafford before the Liverpool game. That's going to be a big one.
Because you man have been on to the Glazers for like
long time.
How long have they been at United? Like 20 years.
2006 or something.
I feel like the whole time they've been there, you man have wanted them out.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
Like,
when you buy a club and put them into, we were a fucking profitable. We are profitable now, but we were do you know what I mean? We were making money, and then they bought us and put us into like £750 million of debt just because they bought us.
Yeah. I mean,
and that was Ed Woodward as well. Ed Woodward brokered that deal with JP Morgan.
So my man's martyred himself this week. Or
he ain't martyred shit, fam.
So he would like us to believe.
He ain't martyred shit, man.
What happened after that? Now, what's the? Now you've got him out the door. Is how big a step is that for the Glazers, for United now? Like you said, the Glazers are probably not going to go anywhere.
Not much until. I don't know how much of our transfer policy is down to Ed Woodward, or if it's the Glazers, or if it's.
Because Woodward was seen as like the
he was just a fuck up. He just fucked shit up, bruv. He just
Safe.
so
He
just fucked shit up, bruv. He just came in for me, yeah, he doesn't know how to negotiate, and I think that's quite clear.
Isn't my man a banker or something?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's negotiated big deals before, yeah. He's commercially very, very successful, and that's why he got the job at United. I'm not doubting that, right? But when it comes to a negotiation of a new Champions League format, or a negotiation for Jadon Sancho, what I've seen time and time again with Ed Woodward.
I'm still talking about Sancho.
But that's a perfect example of his negotiation
tactics.
Because
he was for all intents and
man was
purposes.
playing hardball from like.
He was there. He
said, "You want Jadon Sancho this much," and he's like, "Okay, cool. Here's 50 mil." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, do you know what I mean? It's just like he's trying to play hardball with people who've got fucking.
You see the meme with the Don in the shop with the Red Bull?
Yeah, like, fucking take your mind.
Fuck off. He just tried to do them dirty.
But we've seen, like I said, we've seen time and time again with Ed Woodward is that he is a hard negotiator, he's a tough negotiator, and he went in all guns blazing.
There's no Marco.
He came in all guns blazing.
What with the Sancho thing?
With this ESL thing, bruv. Do you know what I mean? He negotiated. He brokered that deal with JP Morgan. No one. I don't need to be told that was the case to know that was the case. He negotiated.
Did he used to work for them or something?
He brokered the deal between. Yeah, he used to work for them. He brokered the deal to take. So the Glazers borrowed money from JP Morgan to buy Manchester United.
See, this is just one example, but this whole like. The nepotism in football and the elitist mentality of like people just bringing in their mates and people not qualified to be doing jobs or people just getting little deals, little sponsorship deals, little deals here and there. That's a massive problem in football. But for me, I can't really see a turning point. How do you get out of this? How do you get out of this? Because I just like I don't know, man. I feel like you said about the owners not being, our owners aren't going to go anywhere, your owners aren't going anywhere, and there are massive problems in the club at the moment, both financially and on the field as well. How do we now get to a point where we can, if we're not going to oust the owners, what can we do to make our
bro? I'm not going to lie to you. It sounds depressing. There's not much you can do.
So there's
not much you can do in terms of fan power. A lot of the power lies in the players. So resonating with players and players understanding the fans is the only way really of achieving any sort of change in football. Because the players have power and they've always had power. Do you know what I mean? Not always, but ever since the Bosman stuff, all that stuff came in, agents, players have more power now than ever.
He's even seen fucking De Bruyne. Fucking, have you seen he didn't get an agent for his new City deal. He hired analysts to analyse his game, to basically quantify his influence on the team and value. I want to see more shit like that. I want to see more players, and I'm sure you want to see this as well, because there's a certain agent who's not having a great influence over your club or over your players at times. But I want to see players this week, like they've done this week, take more ownership over their own careers. Take more ownership, show a bit more personality.
Bro, they take better ownership of their careers though.
But what I mean is like...
My man's like running down deals and like just signing hella people.
Yeah, but I feel like with players sometimes there's always outside influence, or there's always like... I feel like they're the ones stuck between the club and the fans and their own like personal entourages. But like I want to see more shit like De Bruyne saying, no, I don't need an agent. It's my career. It's my deal. I'm gonna do it how I want to do it.
What's the difference from using an analyst telling you how much to get?
Because I feel like having players having more of a say over their own, not their own career, but what decisions they're gonna make. I just feel like it's gonna make for a better environment. Where,
I hear that, bro.
Because now let's just take Paul Pogba as a quick example. We rarely, I know he did the interview the other day, but we rarely hear from him himself, and I feel like. He's quite a divisive character in your fan base. I'm just taking him as, you can take anyone else as an example. But if we heard more interviews from players or saw more players do their own stuff and kind of, I don't want to say think for themselves, but like, I want it to be more about the player. Sometimes I see too much other stuff, too many people talking for the player.
Paul Pogba gets a lot of shit because he talks too much.
But it's always through. I feel like it's always through.
No, he goes on international duty and talks.
But bro, I feel like, but that's international. I feel like when they go on international duty, they always feel a bit freer. But when he's in Man United colours, in Man United, I want to hear him do the talking. I want to hear him say, I want to stay at the club, or I don't want to stay at the club, or I want to do that, I don't want to do that. And I'm just taking Pogba as an example. You can take any example. I love what I saw from Rashford this week and what I saw from Henderson. They were like, no, we're not going to just do the normal like club kind of propaganda post. We're going to speak for ourselves. We're going to do like a personal message about an issue that's affecting them. That's what I want to see more of.
Yeah, I hear that, but I don't necessarily think.
Massive long
I don't really think that like agents stop players from doing that.
So what is? So I maybe it's not. I'm not saying it's agents, but I feel like agents do get in the way. But for me, it's quite like, I don't know if it's just a thing in this country, but I feel like we don't encourage players to come out and talk out, because they know that everything they say is going to get misinterpreted, or it's going to get misquoted, or people are going to just clip little bits of what they're saying.
The media's fucked, man.
The media's fucked. The media's fucked.
Like,
but I want to create an environment where players, because there's a lot of players where we feel like we don't see their personality until they retire. Then you're like, oh shit, he's kind of jokes. Like, why was he not doing this before? Because it's not the done thing in this country or in football.
I just don't know how that's gonna help. Like, okay, I get it, empower players and stuff like that. But then I think that what, for sure. Like, but then you get to a very delicate balance there between player, club, and like that whole power structure. Because ultimately, the club is the most important thing. The players aren't the most important thing. It's the club. It's the fans. It's everything.
I'd say the fans are the most important, but
it's the club, bruv. It's the club. It's the institution that these fans worship.
But we've seen already that people that are at the top of these institutions are not reflecting. For me, yeah, okay. Who reflects your values more? Someone like Pogba or Rashford, or the Glazers?
Well, definitely not the Glazers.
But the Glazers are seen as the ones. They're like the figureheads of the club. They sit in the club hierarchy.
They're not the club, though. In my mind, when I talk about the club, they're not the club.
I know that, but in that's how we think. But in actuality, they sit at the top. They make the executive decision. They shape which direction Man United is going to go in. But for me, there should be more. But it should be more about the players. We should be hearing more from the players. The connection needs to be with the players more than it is with the club.
Because the players come and go, though, man. I find it hard to sort of pin a mask.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Look, for me, what in terms of like what we can do as fans to safeguard our clubs is make sure that if there's a policy that we vote in the next general election to protect these clubs. And I think nationalising football is important. It's something that I think it's like Jeremy Corbyn-esque.
You right, bro?
Yeah, I fucking electrocute myself. It's Jeremy Corbyn-esque. But yeah, nationalising the game.
Let's not get too political, but a lot of the things that this man was saying, when was it, 2017, Corbyn laughing him out of the building over.
Okay, yeah.
Look at us now, man. Look at us now.
But yeah, I don't know really what to say in terms of like how we can like viable steps. There's something we've got planned coming up. That hopefully we'll be able to shed a bit more light on that and we've actually got some exciting things.
Very exciting news coming up.
But look, it's probably one to think about, because I'm not really sure in terms of like two of the main things that come away from this is like, how do we protect clubs better, and what format do you want? What do you actually want European football to take?
That's the thing, because even like so that now the ESL's been completely binned or whatever. It looks like, I don't know what's happening with UEFA now, but it looks like they might be pressing ahead with this new Champions League format, and I'm not even with that too much, to be honest, too much.
Double the amount of games.
Double the amount of. We heard Gundogan come out this week being like, "What do you man just not rate the players? You're going to make us play more games without consulting us?" Like,
bro, to be honest, yeah, look. As a I didn't rate what Gundogan came out and said, to be honest.
You didn't rate it?
No, because as a professional footballer, bro.
No, don't give me.
No, let me speak. Let me speak. Let me finish this.
Go on.
As a professional footballer, yeah.
Don't say you.
No. Like, your dream as a child, the reason why you play football is to play football games. It's up to your manager to No, let me finish. It's up to your manager to manage the games and to manage the squad. That's what a squad's there for. But in terms of players and whether players are playing too many games, like for me, the question is, do we increase the amount of games that we have, and increase revenue streams and increase popularity in the sport?
That's the reason they're not doing it for the love. They're not making more games because they think, oh, sick, that's what the fans want to see. They're doing it because they think, oh, how can we extract more money, more money out of the fans, and how can we extract more fucking resources out of the players? Like,
these players are well paid individuals. They're playing. They're not. This is not a job, bro. They're playing a dream, bro. Their lives are dreams, fam. If they're playing football, they're complaining about playing football too many games.
Bro, there's a fine line.
They've got sports scientists for this shit, bro. They told you when players are going
I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised.
Bro, you're telling me what? I should feel sorry for Gundogan because there are too many football games, bro. You joking? Nah. Give it to the younger players.
But but this is the thing. But this is the thing.
Not for me, bro. If you want to be a professional footballer, play football.
No. This is where I disagree, because you can't say with one hand you should rotate the squad. You should play all the players in your squad possible. If Ollie's leaving big names out of games that you deem to be big games, like European games, you're gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? So you got a semi-final next week.
That's how it happens.
So you got a semi-final next week. You got a semi-final next week against fucking. Who you playing in the semis?
We got Granada. No, not Granada. I'm playing Roma.
Say my man leaves out Bruno, Pogba, and Rashford because he needs to rotate. Are you gonna be cool with that?
Rotate for what?
For the next Premier League game.
We don't need to rotate.
But you're saying with one hand that these players should be playing every game and they don't need to rotate.
Look,
players need.
What I'm saying, yeah. My point. And look, as a child, I was an aspiring footballer. Yeah, I wanted to play football. You're telling for me, it just doesn't make. I don't comprehend it. These men are paid well, fam. They're paid more money than we'll ever get. You just have to understand what privileged position they're in to be playing professional football.
I disagree, man. You can't. They're not just fucking performing.
I'm not feeling sorry for players for playing too many games. No way. You play football, fam. That's your job.
It's not just
that is your job. You play
whether okay, I hear that completely. Football.
They're paid like hundreds of thousands a week, and they're saying they're playing too many games.
But none of us, whatever level we play to, none of us have ever been elite athletes at the top of the game. We're not just talking about the physical demands of football. We're talking about the mental demands as well. They're effectively sacrificing. I don't want to say it in a way like they're sacrificing their lives, because obviously it's a very.
Bro, this is their life. Football is their life.
But you can't just expect them just to be playing more games at the drop of a hat. Look how many injuries you've had this season.
Bro, listen.
Because of the fixture congestion.
Bro, alright, injuries happen. It's part of the game. If you're telling me now, yeah, that playing an extra 3 games in a group stage is gonna.
But it's not even a group.
For me, what Gundogan was complaining. I think Gundogan was look.
So you don't think players have the right? You don't think players have the right to complain about the amount of fixtures?
You can complain, but do I feel sympathy for that? No,
bruv, nah, man. I'm not trying to. You're saying this. You're saying this from a position where
3 games extra in the group stage, and you're saying it's too much.
Yeah, but they're not even consulting the players. That's like your work saying to you. We're going to up your hours a week.
They're paying me hundreds of thousands a week. I'll say cool.
The money's all relative. But forget that. Forget how much the money actually is for the minute. All right. They're saying to you. Say your boss says to you, right. So at the moment you do 40 hours a week. Yeah. From now on you're gonna do 60 hours a week, and you're getting paid the same amount of money, and you've got no say in it at all.
Do I love what I do?
Do you love what you do?
Well, then,
whether you love it or not, that's by the by.
Bro, I don't think you understand, bro. I don't think you understand.
But the thing is, you can't just make these decisions which are impacting the players without consulting them.
They're playing 3 extra games.
Do you not agree that?
No, wait.
Do you not agree that that's...
It's gone for a group of 4
it's not even. It's not a league thing now with like 30-16.
Well, no, but you play a certain amount of games. You play, is it 6 games? No, you play 6 games.
No matter how many games. It's more than, I swear.
It's something like that. It's like there's.
We'll do our research on this and get back, but you need. The players, this just goes back to what we're saying about the Super League. Players weren't consulted. Players are not even told about it happening until they read it on the news. Like, you can't keep making these decisions which are affecting their jobs.
Okay, well, I don't know if you were young. I don't know if you're too young for this. Yeah,
me.
I don't know, bro. But I don't know, bro. Do you remember the Champions League used to have 2 group stages?
Yes. But
bro, what I'm trying to say is,
you can't make these changes without consulting the players.
Bro, yes you can, fam. They're not important. They're not important in this decision.
I can't believe it.
You can't ask every single football player if they're okay with it in the playing the Champions League.
What? So how do you normally make these?
That's like 30 players in the club.
So how do governing bodies or democracies normally make decisions?
The stakeholders at each club. They'll decide what's best. That's what happens with the whole.
Bro,
COVID
we've seen
stuff.
already that these stakeholders are not fucking
Look,
competent in their roles.
But they're putting their club first. They vote on the benefit.
They're not putting,
they vote on the benefit of
they're
their
putting
club.
their line in their pocket.
Yeah,
We
I'm
know
not
that,
saying. I'm explaining to you what happens, isn't it? I'm not saying I agree with it or not.
No, I'm proper shocked. I'm actually proper shocked by what
But you're telling me because they're playing an extra 2 games in the groups. I don't care, bruv. Gundogan's fucking crying about nothing, bruv. You're playing football. Football is your passion, bruv. I do your job for free.
But you wouldn't. Like, okay, cool.
I do
you
your
love,
job
you
for
love,
free,
you love
fam.
football. So how are you gonna eat? How are you gonna eat?
Huh?
They're just gonna play football and not get any money for it.
Bruv, they get it's a
That's
figure
what I'm
of
saying.
speech, bruv. It's a figure of speech.
You can't just say,
these players are
yeah,
getting
but you
paid
can't-
well,
whether they get
handsomely.
paid 40 grand a week or 60 grand a week, for me, that's just the industry that they're in. They're just a product of the industry. They're not asking to get paid this amount of money.
So you're telling me, do they not? They look forward to Premier. They look forward to games,
You can't
bruv.
say
A game is a good thing. You want to play football.
What you said,
I don't get
what you
that,
said was
bruv.
rattled me. You can't say they earn X amount of money, therefore they have no right to complain.
No, I never said that. I
disagree.
never said that. I said
You
that
did.
they're paid handsomely.
So what? They can't complain about playing more games.
Bruv, they're paid handsomely for doing what they do, yeah? And they love what they fucking do.
They don't all love it. Let's get.
They don't play football, bro. I don't have sympathy
So
for
if you're
you.
just sick at football,
I
and you
don't
get-
have sympathy
no,
for you.
no,
I don't
no,
have
no.
sympathy for
But if
you.
you're, imagine you're just naturally sick at ball, yeah, and you get told that you're
Do
good at
something
football.
else then.
What? So you're gonna just be?
If you got a problem with it, do something else. There's players that care. There's players that are coming through that care more about football. No,
I know you're better than that.
Bruv, it's not about being better. You're just not. Look,
I feel like you're being like obtuse and not deliberately, but. Well,
it's
maybe
not about
deliberately.
being obtuse, bruv.
You
I know.
can't just say
I know
it.
the mentality.
I know-
I know the
yeah,
mentality.
I know you want it to be, I know you-
No, look.
Go on.
If you want to be a footballer, yeah, you got to love the game at some point. And shout out to Chief Evra because man, I love this game.
I guarantee.
Yeah? But what I'm trying to say is,
that all
these
footballers
man,
love
no,
football.
look, okay, cool. I accept that.
It's just
I
a job
accept
to
that.
something. It's just a job to something.
I accept that. But I don't care about these man. If you're playing football just for a job, I don't. Oh, if you have a bad game, I don't care, fam. If you're coming out, we played 2 minutes. Shut up. I don't care, bruv. But look, for me, these players, yeah, they're doing a job that I dreamed to do.
Yeah,
so
but
you're
this
telling
is when you
me
need to
to
detach
feel
your own
sorry
emotion, but you
because they're
need
playing
to-
2
yeah,
more
this is where you need to
games.
detach your
You're
own
playing
emotion.
2 more games
This is where you
in
need
the
to detach
Champions
your own
League.
emotions.
It is a bruv. At the end of your career, you will fucking lap up them appearances. You will be like, you'll look back and be like, I played 80 games in Champions League instead of them playing 70, bruv. You rest at the end of your career. These men retire in their mid-30s. Remember that. I ain't got sympathy for that. Play the games. If you can't play, don't play. Simple as, fam. Simple as, man. I don't know talking about Gundogan, bruv. Bruv, it's football. It's a game. Play it. If you don't want to play, don't play, fam. Tell him you're tired.
Let you carry on.
That doesn't make sense to me, bruv.
I'm
bruv.
surprised, man. I
No,
didn't think this
all
would be the
of
one
you
thing
man
we
out
did.
there that wanted to be footballers and that trained. You're telling me if you're in Gundogan's position, you're gonna be crying about playing the next 2 games.
I feel
2
like
games, fam.
no.
2
This
games.
is where
No.
this is the point. I like.
Call me on Tuesday all you want, bro. I'm saying my truth.
This is quite a good place to wrap things up as well. But
Wrap
you
up,
can't
bro.
just. You're just gonna put me in a split. You can't just say because it's an extra 2 games or they're getting paid handsomely. Like therefore, man can't chat and they can't say anything at all.
I started this whole thing saying I don't have sympathy. Is that
Yeah.
fair? I don't have sympathy for it.
It's not
You're
about
telling me
sympathy, but
I would play a game of football.
empathise,
I'd play a game of
empathise,
football.
empathise.
3 o'clock in the morning. Wake me up, play 3. I'll get up, put my boots on, done. Do you know what I
Man
mean?
say they'll play for nothing. Yeah.
But I do what they do. I do their job for free. I'm telling you that. For free.
What, so you have
Weekends.
so you get no source of income. You can't do your normal.
They give me my dinners. They give me my. Look, I'll work my job, bro. I'll play games on the week. I'll play games in my spare time, fam. If they're gonna be dropping me off, if they're gonna give me a company car, if they're gonna give me food before the game, transport home, I'm done, bro. I'm there. Just sign me up. Give me my squad number when I arrive.
I think you're capping slightly. I think you're capping.
Bro, I've just got not. If you're gonna try, look. If you come to me, yeah, and you're like Moses, bro, like I'm having a fucking tough time, bro. Like my manager's getting me to play another 2 games this season. Like, I'm like, bro, do you not like your job? But I love football, man. I love football.
It's
like,
the knock
so
on.
what? So what? Are you tired? Yeah, but you got a squad of players, the manager.
It's not just extra games.
So what?
It's the knock on effect.
Am I sorry?
Say-
So
okay,
what?
go on.
Tell me
No,
what
no.
I should be sorry for.
Alright, okay.
They're tired.
Okay. Right, so you're playing. We don't know if it's 2 games or not. Say it's an extra few
It's 2.
games.
It's an extra 2, maybe 3, 4.
I feel like it's more than that. I
think it's 4, maybe.
Say it's an
maybe
extra
4.
few. Say it's an extra few games. Yeah. In those few games, you know how strict.
No, it's 10 games. So you play 6. So imagine it's a group of 6 and you play each other 5 times. That's how
There's
it is.
10 games instead of 6 that you have at the
It's an
moment.
extra 4 games.
It's an extra 4 games. Right. So, and
360
then there's going to be extra. And surely there's going to be like an extra knockout round after that as well. Then.
No.
So what? Go straight from that into what the round
I
of
think
16.
it's just an extra 4 teams, and
We need to pattern up the ins and outs of this. But at the moment, we've seen already this season, players are playing to the absolute maximum of their capabilities, of their capacity. Right? We've seen the amount of injuries. Maybe I'm talking from a different position because of what's happened at my club, but we're seeing players being pushed to the absolute edge. That's having a knock-on effect on their performance overall. We're seeing more injuries than ever. Like you said, this is a very short career. Players are seen as very dispensable. You have to, as a player, you have to protect your own body, your own career. Players are already playing too much, in my opinion. They're playing to the maximum. I don't really want to be seeing situations where they're forced to play more games than they need to, or more games than they're comfortable with playing. And touching on the point that you made about
get rid of the Christmas period.
Touching on the point you made about
that's more of an urgent. If you're worried about player fitness and player well-being, then let's get rid of the fucking Christmas period again.
Have a break instead.
Have a break.
We had a break last season, didn't we?
No, that was in winter. That was after.
Oh, because we had a like a 2-week break. That kind of, I don't know how the players would thought about
it. Fam. I'm not bothered by it, bro. Just bring football back.
I just want football.
What? I don't get it, bro. This is nuts to me. This is nuts, bro. Why am I feeling sorry for someone who's you might be tired, bro, but you're fucking sleeping on goose feathers, bro. Like. I mean, you're good, you're blessed, but I'm not bothered.
That's the clip right there, goose feathers.
Bro, them men are sleeping good, they're down quilt, bro, they got everything, fam. Look, I love footballers, I wanted to be one, right? Yeah. I understand that. I understand that football is a hard sport, and they man have worked hard to get to where they are in their careers.
Yeah.
But best not forget what brought them there in the first place. That desire to play football, bro. Like you should not, from a footballer, you should not be complaining about playing games. You should never complain about playing games, or just retire. If you're that tired, retire. I'm not bothered by. I'm not bothered by. Look, you got a manager there. You got sports scientists. You got people there to protect you and to make sure you don't go into burnout. Right?
So you don't think that they should be consulted on these kind of things at all?
No, because there's so many footballers. You're talking about 30 people at one club, right?
Yeah.
Times that by what? 32 teams, but you got how many players?
So they shouldn't be like a union, or there shouldn't be like a players' union.
That's a different thing, because then that's one body representing a group of people,
right, okay.
Rather than each player. But at the moment,
you can't have one player from each club. You can't. What about the captains? Do you not get the captains together and speak for the club?
But you're talking about every player, bro. I'm not talking about every player.
At least they'll have some better representation. Anyway, I feel like we're going around in circles on this. Let's kind of try and bring things to a close a little bit.
Ilkay Gundogan.
We massively disagree.
If you're looking for sympathy from me, go watch something else. Go get some sauerkraut or something. Bro. I ain't got sympathy for you.
He's Turkish. He's on the Donners.
The kebabs. But look. Let's bring it back. Because what I want to make abundantly clear is Edward Wood, you're a fucking dickhead. Good riddance. See you later. But the work is not done. And I know I sounded down in the dumps about it, but the only way you can fuck these owners is by fucking their pockets. Do you know what I mean? So that's buying vintage shirts. Protesting when you can at these games, bro. Like going up to Manchester, like I wouldn't be able to do it, but bro, best believe I would have been there, bro. I would have been outside Old Trafford campaigning, because this is something I believe in, right? I believe in football and the return of football to the fans. In terms of ownership especially, bro. We didn't really get to touch on this, but I think we can do this in the next pod. But the 51% rule that Germans have done it.
Germany patterned up, bruv. They were not involved from the offset.
You didn't see a peep out of them.
The fans run. They don't run things completely, but they can't be doing these fuckeries where you're seeing all of a sudden your team on Sky Sports News is being fucking taken to some next league. That can't happen in Germany. The model, we'll go into this in more detail next time, because I think we're gonna have hopefully a special surprise for you lot. But yeah, that shit that the fuckeries that they've been doing here, that can't happen in Germany. We need to kind of hopefully move towards more of a model like that, where fans have a proper say in the club, have a proper stake in the club as well. But listen, man, that was both beautiful and ugly, but we got football back this week. It came and it went. But listen, listen, like our shit here so we can get some better mics. Mine's calm, man. Mine's absolutely calm.
Touch mine?
Nah, but trying to electrocute me.
Anyway, look, guys.
But yeah,
we'll
listen.
be back.
Thank you
We'll be
very
back
much for
Wednesday.
tuning in. We know we had a little bit of a break, so thank you for sticking with us. But we're back in full effect, arguing as ever.
But can we get a quick overview of what's going on with Liverpool at the moment? Because
Well, based on what
I don't even know when the last
you
time-
haven't
we
been
haven't spoken about you dropping out
oh
the
my
Champions
God, we
League.
have. We did the post match, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Our season is just like just end the season now, innit? I'm looking to next season. Kanati's gonna get signing. FSG, you can get fucked completely. I also sent about you. Look at the fucking shit you gave me, man. I still haven't even seen Ben Davis in a Liverpool shirt.
I don't think he will, bro. I don't think he actually
The whole thing is
existed.
mythical, bro.
Yeah, literally, he's a myth. He's a myth, bro. He's not real, bro. He's like fucking Poseidon. In
we got Newcastle this weekend. Like, do I even care? Like, what? Like,
Everton got a win as well.
Everton, yeah. Arsenal, like, you man, I can't even be bothered with you lot anymore, man. I can't even bother with you lot. But that's it, man. Any final closing thoughts from you? I know that was
Fuck Florentino Perez, you fucking dickhead.
You're the worst one of the lot. Man. You're shameless, man. Proper shameless.
All the rest of them, just get out of the fucking clubs. Let the clubs be run by people who actually give a fuck about the clubs, the history, the heritage of football, and don't ever let no fucking Americans come over and tell us they don't understand about relegation, bruv. No one asked you to understand it.
Trying to do this playoffs thing, yeah?
Fucking.
Nah, I don't think so.
Obviously, not all Americans are like that, but bro, if them owners come over trying to fucking get rid of like Burnley and Shrewsbury and not Burnley, Bury and Shrewsbury and them teams there, yeah. You gotta protect them teams, bro, because best believe Burnley were one of them teams. Like Leicester were one of them teams for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
That's the beauty of
the
it.
beautiful because teams have renaissances and that. But look, this was one of our renaissances. We're back and we're back with a bang. So guys, thank you for joining us. You know what to do: like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Tell all your friends, tell your
family,
nan, tell your dog, everyone.
Yeah, let them know.
But
yeah, look, this is Weird and Wonderful. It could have got ugly there. It did kind of get ugly a little bit, but
I don't give a fuck. The beautiful game is back.
Back, baby.
Back.
And that's us done. All right.
Peace.
Cheers.
Yeah, nice man. That was good. I didn't think that would get quite heated, but I guess it did.